everyone, welcome to Kumari's Kids channel. Today's story is going to be about the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Let's get started. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, a queen looked down into the palace courtyard and wished for a child as pure and beautiful as the Snow White covering the ground. Not long after her wish was granted, she gave birth to a daughter who, whose white skin glowed, and she named the child Snow White. But the queen's joy was fleeting as she died soon after the birth. The king remarried, and the new queen spent her days gazing into a mirror, asking, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" Without fail, the mirror replied, "You are the fairest of them all." These affirmations delighted the queen. But one day the mirror said, "You were the fairest yesterday, but Snow White is the one today." The queen became green with envy as her heart turned against the innocent child. Anger and jealousy consumed the queen, and she soon called on a hunter to do away with her new rival. The hunter did as ordered, but when he drew his knife, Snow White begged to be spared, promising to never come home again. Her moving appeal reached the hardened hunter, and he allowed her to flee into the dark forest. Just as darkness and exhaustions were closing in, Snow White spotted an adorable house tucked in the trees. Inside the cozy cabin, she found a table set with 7 plates and 7 small beds, and all made up. She threw herself onto a bed, but it was too hard. The next was too short. The problems continued until she came to the 7th and final one, which was just right. She laid down and fell into a deep sleep. That night, the 7 dwarfs who owned their home returned. Each soon noticed that someone had been in their bed and remained puzzled until the last of them found little Snow White asleep in his. "Goodness, what a beautiful child!" they all exclaimed. The dwarfs tiptoed away, taking care not to wake her in the morning. Snow White woke and covered it from the 7 small men, but their kindness quickly charmed her, and they became fast friends. The dwarfs were thrilled to have someone so honest to watch over their house while they labored in the gold mines. But they knew the wicked queen would not be as excited as they left for the day. They told Snow White, Your stepmother will soon learn that you are here. Don't let anyone inside when you are alone." That day the queen confidently strode to the mirror and asked, "Who is the fairest of us all?" The mirror replied, "The queen was fairest yesterday, but Snow White is the one today." The dwarfs protected her from your sway in the forest far away. The queen retreated into a scarcery and focused her fury on Snow White's dismays. Eventually, her dark designs produced the perfect weapon, a poisonous apple, something so beautiful that no one could resist it, so deadly that even a tiny bit spelled doomed. The devious queen disguised herself and travelled to the dwarf's home. She knocked and pretended not to be bothered when Snow White refused to let her in. The queen presented the apple as though apologizing for being a bother. Snow White again refused, but the queen insisted. She cut the little apple in half and added a piece she'd kept free of poison. Seeing that, Snow White accepted the poisonous half and collapsed upon taking a single bite. The queen rushed home, and the mirror confirmed that she was once again the fairest of them all. The dwarfs found Snow White with no breath on her lips. They mourned her and called for a glass coffin to be made so that her unsurpassed beauty could be seen from every side. For many years, Snow White lay peacefully in the coffin. One day, a prince came past and was stopped dead by the lovely woman. He begged the dwarfs to let him take her back to his palace. Seeing how much he loved her, they finally relented. The prince's servants stumbled as they lifted the coffin. The coffin shook, and the piece of poisoned apple fell from Snow White's mouth. She looked around with bewilderment and turned to see the prince. "Who are you?" she said. The prince told her, and with love in his eyes asked her to be his wife. She accepted, and the news of their wedding plans filled the countryside with joy. The queen did not share in that happiness. After years as the fairest in the land, the mirror now told her, "The queen was fairest yesterday, but the prince's bride is today." She sped to the wedding and saw that the impossible was indeed true. Snow White was full of life. Unable to hide her evil any longer, the queen was fitted with iron shoes and forced to dance until she fell down from exhaustion and died. Snow White and her prince reigned happily over that land for many, many years, and they never forgot the seven dwarfs who were so kind to Snow White in her time need. Okay, this is the end of Snow White story. I will see you guys in the next storytelling.